And you also, this is very interesting, because you also worked at Amazon, and you also worked and you're working at LinkedIn. So could you tell me one thing of any of these hiring processes that you were hired that like amazed you, like you were saying, wow, this, I never thought this could be done or happen in a hiring process, like in a good way?
Yeah, that's a good question. You stumped me, I think. One thing that was amazing across, I think actually, trying to think. Amazon's process was pretty straightforward, and they didn't have like the campus I went to is small, so I can't really like think that I was like wowed by that process, but I think the Google and Facebook recruiter experience did amaze me. I don't want to like dodge your question, but I really do think recruiters have more of an impact than they realize on the candidate. Because I'm also thinking about, well, if this recruiter is acting a certain way or not responsive, that's a reflection on the company as well. So I'm also interviewing the company by like the way that these people are interacting with me. So I think, and the people that I interviewed with at Google, and then I will say at Google, and then LinkedIn most recently, I can share that the people that you choose to interview people, it's so important. Don't just put anybody there, because like the people I interviewed at LinkedIn, that was literally the one of the main reasons why I took the job, is because I connected with every single person. And I think when you asked me that's what really stood out to me was at LinkedIn, the culture is just so great and strong. The people were just very down to earth, kind. Um, we got to just talk about normal things. It wasn't so like serious the whole time. So I think for me that was an amazing experience. And LinkedIn had all the same things in terms of like the process. But when I think back, yeah, I think that the people have been like the best part about the experience, the people you actually connect with.
So what you're saying is that because we work a lot about this candidate experience, feedback, how to give feedback, how to train the hiring managers or on their interview skills, because they're technical many times. They do not know how
Yeah.
to interview. So what you're saying is the most important thing that you consider in a hiring process is the human side. Like
Yes.
how the recruiter answer you, like in terms of connecting with your anxiety in a way of knowing what is going to go next. Or although in the processes that you have, we have a lot of candidates when we are in a hiring process that do not go through the stages, and for a lot of recruiters that's a huge challenge because they have to connect or contact a candidate that do not went through the process. And it's like,
Yeah.
in my company we try to all the time stay in a very like personal and a very human side every time in the whole process, and understanding that this is not right now for you, it doesn't mean that you do not fit for any other position. But as recruiters are afraid of feedback, they tend to send an email, and it's like, call the candidate, he went through the process, he went to an interview, call them, they will
Yeah.
not get mad. So a lot of recruiters are afraid of the like bad news or
Negative feedback.
negative
Yeah.
feedback, that it's so crazy that it's like many times when I train recruiters, they tell me it was not that bad, I thought it will be like a lot worse. And on the candidate side, it's awful when they do not receive any
Yeah.
feedback. So it's crazy because on both sides are people, right?
Yes.
The
Yes.
recruiters are people too,
Yeah, the recruiters are people and they're nervous also. I think
Yes.
I agree with you, but if for the recruiters out there, in my experience, so I've actually I've been rejected from Google also many times. I've got rejected from Facebook many times. It's not all like perfect, right? I think my what I don't like is if a recruiter knows I'm not going to get the position, if they say, "Hey, can you hop on a call? I have the news to share." I would ask that they email me saying, we're not going to move forward with you, but I'd love to hop on the phone call with you and talk through why. Because if they don't tell me, then I'm just anxious waiting for this phone call and I don't know if it's
And not
yes or no.
knowing if it's good news or bad news. Makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, it makes
So if you're going to
sense.
call and give bad news, just tell them ahead of time it's bad
Ahead.
news.
And that
Yeah.
do not cost us any like too much effort in terms of sending an
Yeah.
email and this is not good great news, but we want to speak to you because in my eyes I was not considering considering that issue, but it's great to know and to also use it because it's like I always prefer for our recruiters to call the candidates, like give them feedback by phone, not that by email, especially that we work with IT developers and we recruit developers. So like for us
Yeah.
it's very important to stay in touch with this developer in the future, maybe not for this position but in the future.